Title: Ukraine Peace Talks. Is China the unlikely game changer? TLDR. Around 30 countries are attending Ukraine peace talks in Saudi Arabia, and China's presence signals a notable shift. China's special diplomat for Eurasian affairs, Li Hui, was in attendance, making China a key player in the ongoing conflict. There's speculation around China's role, as their alliance with Russia could influence the trajectory of the war. However, China's current stance on the war seems to have impacted its image in Europe. So, is China looking to save face, or are they positioning to play a significant role in ending the war? And how costly is their support for Russia really turning out to be? World powers are turning their gaze towards Saudi Arabia this weekend, but not for the usual oil deals or royal extravaganzas. Instead, it's all about the Ukraine peace talks. You heard it right, folks, peace talks, Ukraine, and Saudi Arabia all in the same sentence. And it's not just your usual suspects attending these talks. The intriguing cast of characters includes Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor to President Joe Biden, and Li Hui, China's special diplomat for Eurasian affairs. Now, isn't this a spicy twist? Remember the last meeting in Copenhagen? China was notably absent. But this time, Li Hui is present and ready to engage. What changed? Does China now see a role for itself in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine? China's role is indeed a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. No, it's not a burrito. The country's No Limits partnership with Russia and President Vladimir Putin, signed just before the invasion, has, in fact, turned out to have many limits. Although China hasn't shipped any weapons to Russia, they have been a supportive partner by purchasing Russian oil and supplying Chinese technology. But as they say, every friendship has its costs, right? Even as China's friendship with Russia drags on, there are whispers that Chinese officials are growing weary of the war. It's been a thorny path, with their support for Russia casting a shadow over their reputation in Europe, where they're keen to establish economic and political connections. Is China's presence at the peace talks an attempt to regain favor on the world stage? Could it be a sign that China is reconsidering its stance on the war? Then, there's the meeting's host, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who is looking for support from the global South countries. Among his targets are India and Brazil, both of whom have stayed neutral in this conflict. With all these diplomatic maneuvers, it's no surprise that China wants a voice at the table. But are they there just to observe, or do they have a bigger game plan? Could it be that China is also calculating the cost of their alliance with Moscow? Is the price tag for supporting Russia becoming too high, not just in terms of money but also prestige? And could China save both by playing a significant role in ending the war? While neither Li nor Sullivan is expected to make any groundbreaking announcements, the Saudi Arabia meeting may hint at the shifts in alliances and strategies in the future. If the Ukraine war continues to be a deadly stalemate, could the two world powers, the US and China, see a mutual benefit in forcing an end to the conflict? But let's not forget one key player, Russia. Despite not attending the meeting, the Kremlin is keeping a close eye on the proceedings, acknowledging that they have stakes in the game. The question now is, will Russia return to the Black Sea Grain Initiative, especially considering the potential implications for Chinese interests? With more US-China meetings scheduled, including a potential Biden-Xi summit, the upcoming developments could give us clues on whether the deadly deadlock in Ukraine will continue, or if there's a chance for a much-needed resolution. But one question remains unanswered: is China ready to pivot from being a mere spectator to an active player in the Ukraine conflict? Can it broker peace in this intractable war, or will it dig in deeper with Moscow? And what impact will this have on the global geopolitical landscape? Your guess is as good as mine, folks. Over to you, what do you think?